Chris. How you doing?
Hello?
Hello.
Is it me?
It's you.
Okay. I'm calling. I saw a TV show on Channel 10 last week called Regeneration X, I think, TV.
Regeneration TV, that's a Christian program.
That? Yeah. Well, they were saying, they were talking about evolution, and they were also talking about politicians, saying, you know, it's better to have a politician that's religious or believes in God because that gives him morals because he has something to answer to. And they said, you know, atheists have nothing to base their morals on, you know, that there's nothing that forces them to be good people. I thought it was completely absurd. Like, they were saying that if the people who made laws were atheists, they would make rape legal.
Yeah.
Because it's a natural, like, you know, animals rape each other and stuff like that. And I don't know, it's weird to me that religious people, it's almost like they're saying, we're bad people and we need God to make us good.
Well, they are.
And I think even the story in the Bible about Jesus is basically about, you know, he had to die for your sins because you're a piece of crap, basically.
Yes.
It's what, and I find it completely preposterous. It's like,
yeah, and you're only a piece of crap because I created a piece of crap in the first place, and you're inheriting all of his immorality. Yeah,
right.
It's absurd.
If that's true, then God's a piece of crap in there because aren't we in His image? You know, it's like, well, I guess that makes God really stupid piece of crap. But the thing to me, it's absurd to say that, like, I have a conscience. I don't need some idea in my head about something outside of me, some God or whatever, or a heavenly reward to make me do the right thing. It's like, I know that this is the only life I have, and it's better to do the right thing now so that everybody, you know, be good to other people, all that, so that everyone can have a good time in the only, you know, time that they have to experience awareness. You know, this is it.
Absolutely.
And once you're dead, it's gone. So why wouldn't you do the right thing and be nice to people? And
I don't know.
That's the way I see it. And I just find it it perplexes me that religious people think that they're so right and they're so good, and yet without their God, they're saying that they would go out and rape people, basically.
Yeah.
And I find that completely hypocritical.
Yeah, the link that they just put up to the Euthyphro Project is something that one of our current co-hosts and former hosts, Russell Glasser and Jeff D, have putting together. If something is only moral because of God commands it, then it's arbitrary and it's subject to change at any time. And God can come out tomorrow and say, you know what, I was wrong about that murder thing. Go out and do some murder. I got a new law: murder's only wrong if you kill more than 10.
Well, yeah.
And that's just absurd. But the thing is that if something's right or wrong despite God, if he's not the author of morality and he's just the one relaying the message to us, then that implies that we could find out what's right or wrong without the need of any God, and that right or wrong exists without a God even in the picture. So there's no solution to the dilemma that supports what a lot of religionists claim, that all atheists don't have any kind of any moral basis. And I'm with you. I'm baffled at how they do it.
Yeah. Well, the other point I had was 12-step programs, and I can't name them or whatever, but I've been to their meetings and stuff. And one of the basic things up there is that you have to believe in some sort of God, and they say, you know, it's of your own understanding or whatever. The way it's worded is actually how we understand it,
right?
Which to me, they're talking about a Christian God. But when you say you're an atheist and you can't believe, it's sort of what the woman said, that they don't understand that I can't make that choice, that there's nothing in me that's going to go, oh, wait a second, oh, now I believe in God. It's like, my common sense tells me it's just not possible,
right.
You know? And it's the same thing as a friend of mine once said, he said, it's like the question of whether there's a God or not. No one can answer that. It's like, hey, I can come up with an idea in my head about how the universe was created, but it doesn't mean everybody has to believe it just because I thought it up. God's a human idea. And it just seems kind of weird to me that people say, well, you can't say whether there's a God or not. It's like, well, yeah, I can, because another human made the idea up.
Yeah, I may not be able to
believe
say
what they
absolute certainty that I know there is no God, or but you can't say that you know there is. What we're talking about is belief. And is there a good reason to believe that a God exists? And the answer is obviously no.
Well, there's no proof. I mean, that's the thing. And they'll always say that to me. Well, you don't have any proof God doesn't exist. Well, why would there be proof he didn't exist? The burden of proof, I think, is in religious people's court, that they need to prove that there's a God. I don't need to prove that something doesn't exist. That's crazy.
Well, Chris, next time somebody asks you to prove God doesn't exist, ask them how they intend to prove to you that Santa Claus does not exist.
Yeah. Well, that's right. I mean, that's usually what I say is, I read The Hobbit when I was a kid, and I don't believe in Middle Earth. No, I mean, it's the same thing, You can read the Bible all you want. It doesn't prove anything, or the Quran or whatever religion you believe in, But I just want to say that, I've called you guys before when there were other hosts and stuff, and, I'm glad, actually, that you guys have the show, because when you see things like that Regeneration TV thing, I mean, there's no voice they wouldn't even pick the phone up to let an atheist say his part of the thing.
Well, in fairness, the former host of this show, Ashley Perrion, was actually a guest on Regeneration TV. I don't know how long ago, and I wasn't a part of the group, so I haven't actually seen the show. I think the comments that you claimed that they made yesterday, I think it was.
Well, actually, I saw it last week, but I think the show was a few months old.
Okay, it could be. Their comments are baseless. It's nonsense, and it's something worth fighting. But I don't want to completely tear them down as irreasonable, because they have had an atheist on the show. I don't know how it went, actually, and I'm not convinced that it went particularly well. That's one of the things that we try and do in the promotion of positive atheism, is to make sure that these misconceptions that have been spread now on TV as well, but traditionally from the pulpit, about they're wanting to turn American society into some secular monster that will destroy our family values. Boy, isn't that a code word? Family values. Like atheists don't have families, don't raise kids, don't love their families. I mean, it's just absurd.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to rag their show out completely, but it just seems, and I know when I called in, the guy who answered the phone told me that, people from your show have been on their show. Yeah. But it was just such a one-way conversation. I mean, you guys will answer the phone and talk to religious people and explain why you think what you think, but it just seemed to me that they are completely closed to the idea that, atheists aren't a bunch of murdering, immoral, really bad people. And it just, it seems like hate almost what they're spreading on there. And so it's good that there is a show like yours, which can at least, give somebody some idea, that atheists aren't these evil people that want to kill everyone and everything. They do. I mean, my parents are atheists. My dad's 80 years old. And, there's not, we family values right there. He raised a family. Him and my brother both had to work to raise a family, and we're not evil. We don't want to kill people. We don't believe in rape.
This is a good point. This is a good time to mention, especially with you on the call, because we've had some really good callers giving us good information. If you want to see a demonstration of exactly how evil we are, we do go to dinner after the show, where I will be eating meat from an animal, almost guaranteed.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate the call.
The content of this video is produced by the Atheist Community of Austin, a nonprofit educational organization promoting positive atheism and the separation of church and state. If you enjoyed this content and are willing and able to provide a donation, please visit the website below.